Hello and welcome to the next episode. This is our series about this Lego room and of course my life. Now we have got loads to do, but in the last couple of weeks we have slowly started to chip away at the list. So what we have started with now is the Winter Village display. This is going to be a permanent feature up in the theme park. Home House will eventually go against the orange wall, and then when we've got all the spacing set up for everything else, we can then start making all the really nice dioramas up, which would be nice. The thing that we have done most recent is, well, added in the loop coaster. That is just been built and added into this display, along with the Avengers Tower down into the Doctor Strange. And we will be adding in roads as a 16 by 16 all the way round, I think. And then we can have nice tight roads, as basically the roads are going to be the path like they are at Universal and Disney and that kind of thing. We can then do all the dioramas on the roof. So we've started to do some of them in the couple of weeks that we've been messing around doing all of this kind of stuff. I say weeks. This has been going on forever, because if you go all the way back to episode number 1, the floor fell through, and that was months ago. So yes, it is quite painful, but this is brand new to me. This is now literally only like 2 weeks old, and we are starting to get all of this together. So I think this looks nice. So we've got Team sort of Avengers on the left, and then Team Spidey on the right hand side. We will be adding in a lot more detail to everything. I do want to get the Spider-Man bridge and add that into the red coaster, and I do want to add in this on the actual red coaster as well, and then we'll build it all back up again, because that did look nice as a diorama piece. From there, we've then got the carousel, which looks lovely, and I think that does work well, and obviously it will be edged about where we have the path and everything, and then that's where it stops. So that bit behind it, we need to figure out what we're going to be doing. As it wraps around, we've got Gotham, so that is all going to be Batman stuff, added in the artwork, repainting the wall. The fan is, well, it's the fan, so that's just annoying certain people. I'm just going to keep that there as long as I possibly can. And then this corner here is the bit that we are going to start on and then just tidy up, because that all had to get moved for the unboxing and building video of the loop coaster and the comparison video between the loop coaster and the red one. This is where it's all changed about. That's why it's changed around so quickly. So talking of changing around things quite quickly, that then leads us into what used to be on this table is now coming over to here. So we have now got more display space for the Dungeons and Dragons, the Rivendell, and what is going to be our medieval castle. So we're going to have all of this all linked together. We're going to have a really nice path, I think, connecting it all up, and then a ride that'll basically go around everything. It's almost going to be like a fairy tale brook ride that they've got at Legoland Windsor, or just something like that. If I can just get some boats and they can literally just dawdle around, they can either just go in a straight line and then they can get off, or yeah, we'll figure something out with regards to the ride that can go there. Not too sure the best way to do it, but I think, well, that'll be all water based with the path walking around it, because obviously you've got to connect to the next zone. And then we have got a little bit of sort of sandy area now, because the Unchained Coffee has always been a bit of a nightmare for the Apocalypseburg, but that is our eatery and obviously our drinking place. And then what we'll do is we'll just have this as basically the diorama piece. I have got the correct one of those, which is like the Surf Shack, I think. And then I will just put the correct colour base plate down just there. And then all of this will start to come together. So as it is in rough, I think the spacing is there. And I just need, this is where we're going to link, it's a long way around. I need the Monkey Kid waterfall that is going to go out the back. Now, I want to finish this upload being able to get the Ninjago stuff out. Now, the Ninjago stuff is my own favourite theme. It is beautiful, but it all got damaged in, well, a very interesting live stream. Now this is where it's going to go. So this, it doesn't matter what's on the top of this table when we finish this upload, because that will be coming off at the start of the next upload, but I just need everything else clear. So that table needs to go, this needs to go somewhere. There's just stuff in places, and I want to make sure that everything else is good before we get the Ninjago out. And then when the Ninjago comes out, it's then very much going to be a pace of repairing a lot, and then starting to tile, get the base plates down, and then we can really tuck into it. Because I think, looking at this now, that hopefully that's coming across on the camera okay, because it's just white base plates, no tiles, and I've got so much more in there, but I'm not adding any more in because I didn't know how far this was going to come over. So it's just little things like, well, I'm going to now just use the angle of that wall to come down. So that's going to be one land of the park. This is going to be the next land of the park. Figure out how we're now going to add a ride into every single section. The Winter Village itself is actually going to be hotels, so we don't have to worry about the actual ride on there, so that's okay. Ninjago is just Ninjago, it's his own city, so when you see that, that's just, God, that's such a beautiful thing. Now on to the Disney, and to the Disney. Disney's up there. We don't need to worry about the Disney. On to, I was about to say the Dark Knight. On to Batman. There we go. It's been a very, very long day. So Joker Manor is the ride for that, so that's okay. And then we come over. This is clearly everything on here. So this is our Thrill Seekers section on this side. So I have, I guess, got a couple of options. Now, those options are, for this side, is the Stranger Things and the haunted house, the Harry Potter. It's going to be one of those. It's going to be one of those uploads. The Harry Potter goes somewhere else, and then that gives us 3/4 of a table to do whatever we want with. We can add in maybe some more modulars from the DC side, and then do something slightly different on there. If I want to add in a little bit of water, or do just something slightly different, or add in a little bit of height over here. Which means that would then end up going underneath the table onto a Kallax. The Stranger Things goes with it, and then the haunted house would then just be standalone. Whereas originally, the haunted house was with it. So I'm not too sure. So I'm going to be thinking about that as I start to tidy those different bits and pieces up. Now, I've gone on for far too long, so you're going to go straight in to a time lapse, and I'm going to get all of that moved. Right, that took forever, but we are kind of getting a shape back. And I'm changing it ever so slightly because we've started to dissect internally of the actual zones. Like I said with this at the start of the video, even though this is our full Thrill Seekers section, you're going from like Avenger-esque type stuff into the Spidey stuff, and then potentially into a horror-y section if that carries on there, or the horror section might be over here. To be honest, the X-Men mansion might go over. I don't know. I really don't know how I'm going to finish this one off yet, but basically see what sets are left. But now I want to try and do the same thing with this. So you've got the really nice artwork for the animated series. We've got the little thing up top. It looks fantastic, I think. And then underneath, not to blow my own trumpet, but I think it looks really nice. Repainting the wall red, and yeah, it took everybody's advice, and I think it looks really, really smart. Now you've just seen me put the corner garage, well, over in the corner. That's just basically it's going to be hidden. It is the hardest modular to make work within a display, but I thought if I had the garage section open and you could see the different bits and pieces, it could basically be a workshop. That is how that's going to be. So that is actually going to be our workshop. In all fairness, one of the garages in Islands of Adventure in America, in Florida, their garage was actually a toilet block. So you went down one side or the other. That, it'll be fine. So I'll park a car in across so we can have a Batmobile there potentially or whatever, and then it will come through. So the Jazz Club will stay as is. This will be easy enough to start doing bits and pieces too. So we've got the really nice storage and transfer removals. Now I have got a couple of spare ones of those which I want to start dotting around, which it'll be quite a cool little thing to do. The roof needs to go into the museum. All of this just basically needs a tidy, which I will do in this video, because I just keep putting it off. So I'm going to put you to another time lapse on a different day, and I just basically put all all the models absolutely everywhere. So we've got corner unit on the one side up to a corner unit on the other. Now I've put the cinema here just for spacing, so we can have something else there, something there, and then we've got a little bit of a gap here. So we have basically got 3 base plates and a bit. So this side, it doesn't make a difference what we put into it, because this bit here, when it's all opened up, is actually the display and the show for the actual ride. And obviously the idea is you actually then look through the viewing window like so, and then you can actually see what is going on. So potentially we could have a corner unit, something in the middle, and the palace could literally go on this side. So that could potentially work. So the new, the actual boutique hotel could potentially go there, or I was thinking of maybe having that sort of stepped off there. So it literally was, yeah. So it's a weird one. It's a beautiful looking modular. I just want to make it work. And obviously we have a new modular coming soon as well. So there'll be two modulars that will be coming into this display sooner rather than later. But the Joker Manor. So this thing is absolutely massive. This is the actual main area with regards to the ride and everything, and we put it smack in the middle. Now, what makes sense is the eyeball goes where the fan is. So the Lord of the Rings eyeball, because it is associated with me for the Lego Batman movie, is that. That's basically what it is, and that is the Joker Manor from it. However, it's in water. Both of them are in water, aren't they? The Joker Manor is technically in water on its own island, and the eyeball is swimming in water, even though it's lava. So what I can actually now finally do, if I gave myself just up to this point, so this is completely separate, so this row's completely separate all the way down. We've got 3 base plates at the back. So if 2 base plates were basically for like the eyeball, or we had the eyeball and something else, we could make a really nice display of water mixed in with the orange cheese wedges for a little bit of lava all the way around this area, just as almost like a Lego movie section with regards to the ride. You've got the eyeball as theming and that kind of thing. I think that would work. So the other option is that we could actually get the lighthouse beside the eyeball, and all of it's on water, and then we have a roller coaster and a water ride all close together. So that could potentially work, or we just have something else there. The one thing I don't think we're going to be able to do, unless the new modular is a corner unit in my favour, is actually put a corner unit in where the pool table is. Because obviously if that was a corner unit as it stands right now, I would be able to come across. If I put a modular there right now, you lose all the front of the fascia, and that is something I don't want to do. That's sort of almost like a new rule for me now. I don't want to block anything, so I can see everything here. This is what I've been going on about. So you come round. I'm not going to be losing any space, because I want everything to have about a 16 stud gap basically. So I think that is as much as what I can get away with, and then over there obviously it's slightly different. So yeah, big eyeball up there by the Batman artwork. That was always the plan for that eyeball, and I think that would look really, really nice. Then beside that, it could be, well, basically anything. And then we've got a base plate display to play with. Now, I know the eyeball will fit in this corner, and potentially another base plate will of something. And then we've just got a little bit of a gap. We can make it look like it's on its own island. The roller coaster obviously is supposed to be on its own island, because I completely forgot that in the Lego Batman movie, he buys his own island, literally buys his own island for Wayne Manor, which is obviously what that is. And then you've obviously got Joker Manor, and then they all come over on the water, and that's where the battle starts. Whereas normally, in the normal Batman, it's not, is it? It's just a normal house. So I can get away with that, and with it being there, it just adds a little bit of colour, and that way I can actually do what they did in the Lego Batman movie and have the lava and the water coming down, which will be fantastic. Because I've actually bought, about 2 years ago, a full pab cup of orange cheese wedges, and I have not used them yet, because I've always had an idea for lava and I've never been able to do it, but now I can. But stood here, I actually do, hopefully it's coming through on the camera okay, the haunted house is starting to grow on me a little bit more for height. But I think what will probably be putting everybody off is that you've got the gearing on the back. Now, like all of these, it does work. Now, the chain isn't attached to this one at the moment, but you can see you've got the gearing mechanism on the back just there, so that's where that locks off. And then if you put your hand through and spin it a little bit further round, the thing does come up and back down again. So potentially I could spin it, and it's just spun around this way, and that's that done. And then we just got basically two tall buildings side by side. Or it does go somewhere else, because I am now starting to think about what I'm doing just with this end, excuse me, because we are running out of, not so much running out of space, because we can go underneath the tables, but I just want the stuff that relates to theme park stuff more up here, which, if that makes sense. And I have put the treehouse in the corner, and I have been inspired by Western Supermare and speaking to a really nice gentleman up there that actually changed all the tree branches to like the smaller lily pads. And I think if I changed all of those to white, that could be our accommodation there. And the fact it gives us just that little bit of height, it will work. And I can pin it to the wall as well. And I still think would have space for the Home Alone house as well. So worst case, that can go in the middle. It could actually literally go in the middle of the display or be brought back this way, and we'll have all the accommodation around, because we've got the Alpine Village as accommodation as well. And if I really am desperate, I could add the A-frame cabin and just put white on the top of that as well. But the Home Alone house with its permanent white roof now can be coming into our permanent display. So I do want to cut this off at some point, but I think that might work with all the white leaves and everything on top, because there's no real place for that to go in here. It is technically a treehouse with beds and a working toilet, so it might as well come up for hire, especially as the Legoland places have the holiday villages, and that is the kind of thing that you can stay in, minus it not being in a tree, but you've obviously got all that different type of accommodation like the woodland village and that kind of thing. So I am starving. I am very hungry. It's been a very long day. So I am now going to stuff my face, sleep on what I can move and what I can do next. I will, before I turn the camera off, because I teased it, spin this round and just see, can I, yes, if this will work work any better. Oh, we have a rhino. Where's he appeared from? There we go. I've got minifigures absolutely everywhere. Now on this, we have got all the Marvel characters already. Now this thing is so nice because it just opens up. I say this every single time, but if we can, I am full length, because I could push this back and have a graveyard just in front of it as a queue line, which would work, because that would actually keep with our 16 by 16 rule, because I think I need to try and keep that rule in play. So if I push that back by 16 studs, like, and we have the little graveyard in front, and then as you come around this way, you then see it stepped. The only problem is then, if it's not in line with the Daily Bugle, you are never ever going to be able to see what is going on there. And then obviously you can still see the sort of mechanical side of it. I know it needs to face forwards, but I can't because the roof, it hits the roof. If I don't have it spun, because you can see that of the angle, this is actually a massive angle on here. But if I was to do this, I don't want to knock you over, I want to pull you forward like so. Oh no, don't get stuck in there. I get you lined up how it basically was before. Get the main, that is what we were looking at, but that's now the right way. That big enough gap in to see everything behind. You can see the loop all the way through. That's a quite a cool little thing. Something I'm going to sleep on, definitely going to sleep on, because it's either I try and get the actual ride in with all the other rides, because that's what I'm trying to achieve, because it is a haunted house drop tower ride, loop roller coaster, the other coaster, the big Ferris wheel can go over there, and then we could do some bits and pieces. I could push this back, because that looks quite clean and smart like that. If I push this back because of the angle of the roof, if I push that as far over as I could go, as long as, if I can gain 16 studs this becomes a base plate and a half, which you've spoken about before. That would then basically push back. So if I see, this is why I do a time lapse, because you see me running around and stop and thinking. I actually say this out loud, but if I went back there, that's the 16 studs. If I went back 16 more studs, I think we could have a 16 stud run from the diner and the Daily Bugle, and then have the new, supposedly, X-Men mansion at the very, very front. Because you can still see everything. Now, I could, if I wanted to fill that space up, I could start swapping some of these out. Because I could bring the pet store over, I could bring the restaurant over. Restaurant's perfect for Batman, the palace is perfect for Batman. See, the assembly square is too pretty to hide. They all serve a function, because they all do something as a theme park perspective. So like you've got the games for whatever. It's all fascia, isn't it, for buildings? That's what they are. If you look at all the Universal videos, they've got huge buildings with fascia, but it's because you actually walk behind them for the queue line. You don't actually notice that you're doing it. But if I did, can I push both these back at the same time? Can I get this far enough back so it's in line and it won't hit the roof? Oh, good grief, you couldn't get any closer if I wanted to. So we are now creating a path. See, zigzag, zigzag round, zigzag round. That looks quite smart and clean. We've got a straight line all the way down. So it's not hiding anything. That's the point. And then we could then, like I said, carry on the road out the front here, because this would then connect down here. It can be moved over because this is just slightly bigger than 16 by 16 studs. So if we wanted to, I could off-center the Daily Bugle so we could see the side of it a little bit more, potentially. And then where the phone is could be the X-Men mansion. I am going to leave it like that, have that set a little bit further back, and just see. I don't think that's a bad shout, because it's not in line with, it's stepped from the Avengers Tower, so I didn't want them in perfect line, because I wanted to be able to see everything from the side there, and then now you can obviously see everything from the side there. So nothing, basically, I don't want the nicer, I guess, more expensive sets completely hidden, because I've done that in the past and then just regret it. It just makes no sense. But at least this way, I think that could work, because I guess, see how long I'm wasting on this now? I could put the queue line in the graveyard at the side of the building, so where we've got that little table space, instead of just creating a footpath, because you do this in the theme parks, you basically could go to a dead end here where I just get the pet shop. So that's what that would go straight in there. I got the pet shop, that would fit directly behind there, and then you would just come out of this ride, walk through those fascias, come out, and then it would all connect back up there and then come back through. So we'd have a full connecting path all the way, zigzagging basically, because it would do the same thing here. So you can't get through this way on the path, but you can do on the sort of like the little alleyway slash sidewalk bits. You'd have that same thing there. You could do it on there, and you could walk around basically the side of the building if you wanted to. You could just cut through, so you've got two cut throughs, or you stick to the path. So it's mirroring itself up. And then yeah, I could just add in the haunted, that I've actually got it ready. See, I could add in this, which would go to the back, and then that's that bit done. So we are properly fine-tuning the bigger buildings now, which is great. And then, like I said, we'll dress all of these up with Spider-Man bridge goes in there. We're going to get the head and everything to go in there, and then yeah, we're now starting to look a lot cleaner. So I'm going to figure out exactly how I want this to be, because I think I might change my mind when I wake up, that I don't think it'll be a problem having a base plate basically here, even if it's a smaller building on this base plate, and then we have all the base plates going back And then that could give us a little bit of space behind here for bigger, much taller, bigger things as such, because that is beautiful to see, but I don't think it's going to be blocked off with smaller stuff here. I think with a modular, you would probably only go probably there, I would say, realistically, which would give you about 32 studs maybe on the back. Because if you came any further over than that, this big chunky bit will be right in the middle, and you won't be able to see all of this, because this is very, very detailed, but it is very, very slimlined. And then it opens up and we can just basically have the cars parked at the angle, and then we can park the other cars on the road. Right, I am very, very hungry now. I am very, very thirsty, and yeah, it's just been one of those days. So hopefully you guys and girls think it's slowly starting to take shape. I'll probably change my mind when I come back up here tomorrow. So that is when I will catch back up. So I've slept on it and I think it works. I think it looks really nice. I come back up here, it gives it sort of that more of a city feel, which is exactly what it should be like as you're walking around. And obviously it is a big building as well, and it does work well as a display piece. So yes, I'm going to be keeping that in there. We'll be adding some minifigures to it. I've just got to figure out now exactly the spacing and what I'm going to do over on that side, because we were talking about this before I ended up headbutting a wall with regards to the base plates and things that are left just on that side. Now it's a little bit dark because I have moved the lights over. I'm an idiot. There we go. That's probably not made a difference whatsoever. Now I need to think of, do I put the pet shop over there, or do I bring the bookshop over here and take a 32 by 32 out? Because I was saying that we could have a corner unit, a straight and a corner unit there. It doesn't necessarily have to be a corner unit at all. I could put the corner unit over here behind the diner. It just needs something basically to fill that gap in. That's all it needs. I just want to basically block it off completely. So I just need either a half modular, which is the only one that I've got is the pet shop, or we do something else. So I just need to think of what would work best, and what we can do as a bit of an Easter egg reference to either Spider-Man or Avengers base. And for some reason I can't think. Why do I think the Jazz Club would be the best fit for all of that? The bank and the police station, obviously that's Gotham PD, that's fine. The Cinema Palace can't move, and that's definitely staying, because obviously that is Batman related. That could be Batman related, no problem. Assembly Square is just Assembly Square. Owls and Paul. Don't know if we could have that as a reference to Punisher, Daredevil. That's more Marvel-y based. Do I have something that's Star Wars based? I'm now just ranking the modulars, thinking that nice there, that's nice there, that's not. And I don't know. Basically, I don't know what way to go, because obviously I've plump one out. I just put the two half base plates together, and it works out to be okay. I don't really think the bookshop matters where it goes, to be quite honest. I just don't know. I'm going to have to do a bit of research into Google and then message the Encyclopedia of Knowledge, Mr. J's Toy Collection UK, and ask him about the Jazz Club. So the problems with the Jazz Club, it's got the greenhouse at the top, which is poison ivy. So that can't really move. The corner garage could actually go there, and it would just be a garage just hidden in the corner, and you wouldn't even see it. That defeats the object, but see, this is the problem I've got. So I know that something needs to swap there, but I just don't know whether to pull one out or pull it in. So we will be thinking about that as we go. So what I'm going to do now off camera is just tidy the floor space up. Doesn't need to go to a time lapse or anything. It's just basically stuff on the floor that I just need to re-throw back underneath the table. So I will do that, and then I'll more than likely catch back up with you guys tomorrow, because I've got a video rendering ready to go up line now, because Lego's just done breaking news of different Lego sets, and they have just shafted every single DC fan with an 8-in-1 Batman at £25. You've got to buy 8 of them, I do believe, to be able to collect all of them. Which it just makes... I'm not going to go on a rant. So that's it. I'm done for tonight. And we'll carry on later on in the week. Right, so today's a new day, and I've been thinking about lots of different bits and pieces, which is always a worry. I'm not too sure what to do with the fan, but I do like the Joker manor where it is. So I think what I'll do is I will put a load of blue base plates down and just have it floating. I could potentially raise it up with clear cylinder tubes, just so it makes it look like it's not actually in the ocean itself. And then potentially just have a little driveway round, but obviously it's a theme park, so it doesn't really matter what the colour of the floor is. Now, I need to order a load of 16x16s. I found another couple actually on the floor. So this one, for example, we can now plonk in. I've got a video editing and rendering in the background. But if I was to do this kind of thing, so I've got another 2 just down there as well. I put that there and we put this one just this way, we can then start to space everything properly. Now this was perfect until I moved these 2 backwards, so we can now get that back to where they need to go. That needs to move. This is taking a lot longer than what it needs to. Right, that's in, and that's in. So that is how that's going to look. Obviously that will shunt over, and then now we can start to pin all of these different bits and pieces together. But I think that will look quite nice being a 16x16 road. So that'd be interesting. It'd be interesting with that 32x32 what I could do with it, because we've got that in 2 places basically. We've got a 32x32 here, so we know the road is going to come in a straight line, and I can make a little display just there. That 32x32, the display is going to be outside a bookshop and a townhouse. Maybe not. Maybe I move those over, and then we put a building there with a car in front of it. That will make sense. And I still can't figure out what building would make sense the most, to be honest. Don't particularly... I could put the diner there, and then we put something else against the Daily Bugle at a later date. So that wouldn't be too bad, because we could have the diner next to the townhouse, because that is Aunt May's townhouse. That's fair enough. One of those other 2 townhouses come off, and then we have the downtown diner beside the Ghostbuster firehouse. We make a display outside the front of the diner, which we were going to do here anyway, but it does mean that we might have more space for more characters and that kind of thing. Or we just have a single strip road going in front of the diner. So I'm going to have a little bit of a play with that, because I'm not 100% too sure what the best thing is to do. And obviously that is just rendering away in the background, and I'm going to get that uploaded later on. Probably tomorrow is what that will be. But you're going to go to a time lapse next, which is always nice and exciting for everybody, because I need to sort out all of these minifigures now. I've got things like this. Why is this figure, that I do believe is the Hawkeye that comes with the Avengers Tower, on the fan? I've got figures absolutely everywhere, so I do need to sort all of those out, and I want to get the Natural History Museum finished and made up at some point as well, but I might be doing that. I can't do it in the evenings, so because I've got literally what, 5 minutes of this talking around, and that's the only time I've got, and then I've got to go and carry on with other bits and pieces. No time for anything at the moment, but you're going to go to a time lapse now or next. Might not be now, it might be tomorrow. I'm going to be running around doing all these little bits and pieces. Then I will catch back up, see what we can make of a display down here, get all the vehicles and everything in sorted, try and tidy up these road plates as well. And then maybe I might have a better understanding of what base plate and modular to move from over here over to there. Right, I have ran out of time up here for today. I did manage to get this little bit tidy, and I'm going to start adding in. I tried to get the tow truck to pull one of the multiple Batman mobiles, and it was just, well, there's no anchor point, and they're all too big. And I can't get a Batman mobile in the garage. So I do have, what I'll probably end up doing is probably putting the bikes there. So I could put both of these bikes either by the fuel pump or inside the actual garage, so they actually been worked on. Just a little bit of an Easter egg, and then we can have the two characters sat at the top. Because obviously these do come with a Batman. I think it's Celine as well, isn't it? Celine Gomez who comes with. So I think that's who it is. Could have made that name up. Could be a song. I don't know, but we will see. But those two will go there. That will go there. And then I did forget, actually, I can't believe I completely forgot about that the inside of this thing, so you've seen me do something in here, is Hawkeye is now stood in there, and there's all the sofas and stuff in. So I'm going to make a little diorama with the spare minifigures up in there. I'm not too sure whether to have the windows flat or raised up. And of course, you've got all this amazing detail on the side. So I want to utilize this a little bit better. And also I can now easily get to the front and just remove this. And now I need to find the rest of those prongs. So that is going to be the next mission, is to basically have a tinker and a play with the Avengers Tower. I will then also have a play with the dragon, if I remember. And then we are good to go to end the video, ready for the new Ninjago display. And I say new, it's basically going to be as it was before, but this time the table is not going to be snapped in half. So I'm going to catch back with you guys and girls later on, and then I think we are starting to make some sort of progress. And no, I have not thought about what I'm going to do with the Jurassic Park gates yet. And yes, that is just prepped there and plonked for now. And I do want to make a really nice Spidey display on the top of this using all the different clear elements, because I think that looks brilliant. But I still want this coaster to work. So I don't know when to get the Spider-Man bridge. I've got so much to build. It potentially can wait, but I don't know what to finish. I don't know whether to finish the downtown Gotham so it's done. I don't know whether to finish this area so then it's done and we don't have to worry about it. Because at the moment now, we are basically where we are with regards to all of these displays. Got to figure out what I'm going to do with these modulars. Maybe for now they would just stay and they can just chop and change. We've got space for some more. Do want to do something a little bit different in front of the Batman shadow box. But like I said, the eyeball is going to go here and the big fan will end up disappearing somewhere. Not too sure where it can go. Because it's massive. Absolutely massive. So today is a new day, and it is the final day on this little segment, because we are now ready to go for what is going to be the monstrosity of the Ninjago upload. So that is going to be very, very emotional because it is behind here. So I'm going to start the next upload off by moving that, and I have got the boat out and ready to go. I do love this theme. The minifigures on these are fantastic, and they do look very, very good. So the plan of attack for that, hopefully, will come out okay. If it doesn't, well, we're in serious trouble. So we will soon find out what is going to be occurring on that. Now, I have been thinking, because this is how we're going to end it, of moving another modular over here, and obviously then having a gap on this run. Probably I will wait until the next one comes in, because I think what I'm going to do, and I said this a couple of times in this upload, is that's going to be the eyeball. Beside it, I think we will be able to get the almost edition pack to this. It's all like the little rides and things like that, which is pretty cool actually. It's a nice looking thing, good minifigure selection. Then I thought if I did move the police station to where the cinema is, in front here, I could then potentially have an Arkham Asylum. And then that all links in nicely, because you've got the Shadow Box wrapping around into Arkham Asylum, Gotham Police Station, then you've got the Joker Manor, behind that you've got the bits and pieces. But the only thing is, doing that, I've then got a lot of corner units, which is a bit of a problem, because obviously we have solved the problem over this side with regards to just shutting the gap over there, because we will be adding in another modular so they can't get around. So I am thinking of obviously moving the the pet shop over, and that will just fit in there, or taking a townhouse out and moving a corner unit over. So the only thing that would work over there if I was to do this move, and I'm going to wait on it a little bit longer before I do pull the trigger, is potentially the corner garage could go where one of the townhouses are. That gives us a 32 by 32 for that gap. Then that shuts that off, because obviously it's just going to be a cut through alleyway between the haunted house and the Daily Bugle, so that'd be fine. That base plate then comes over to this side, and then potentially the cinema, the palace, goes back over here, but it is also one that can actually fit in as well. It does look quite smart not being as like a bookend. And then that leaves us just to move the police station to where that is, and then we've still got the space. So that would work. It's a little bit of jiggling around, but that would work. But I'm still just not 100% sure. I don't move it for the sake of moving it, but I have got a plan of attack. So that will more than likely happen potentially sooner rather than later if the next upload does not go well. But I am itching to start that now, so I am going to give that a whirl. I think in the last 2 uploads we've made some really good progress. We've got a base understanding of what we're going to be doing here. Like I said, we've got an option of pulling one of the modulars out and then just closing that gap over here. All of this now is ready to be base plated. So obviously this road now is going to connect all the way around here, go all the way up and all the way back. So this is just going to be a 16 by 16 or 16 by 32. Then this space just here will be for the X-Men mansion, if as and when that comes out. Then obviously I've just added in some bits and pieces over here that I just need to sort out, and I've thrown in all the rest of the loop coaster stuff in that corner. And yes, I have also thrown the Avengers bit in that corner, because I want to figure out if I have the Avengers hidden as an Easter egg or we have the fresh thing there. But the reason why I'm just putting things in places is because for the huge amount of volume of stuff that is in that bit. And like I said, the first thing I've got to move, well, it's the Colosseum, and that Colosseum has to go down the loft ladders, and I've got to put the loft ladders vertically to do that. So I am going to get on with that next. But before I go, I think the decision has been made that we are going to be having basically a full-blown diorama around the red coaster for Spider-Man. So there's 3 sets I think that would work really well with this. Like we said before, we've got the big Ferris wheel that'll go behind the head, so that would look nice. And then we can have the scene from the Spidey Mysterio bit where you got the night, I think it's the Night Monkey Spider-Man that will go up against that, and that comes in a nice little set, so I can actually buy that set to go with the Ferris wheel, so that would look nice. The bridge would go high up, well, it wouldn't have to go too high, it would only have to go level with basically the track, because it's not going to hit here and it won't hit here, so it could just go in line with the track, or it could sit a little bit lower. It just needs to be built above this piece, and it will go underneath, so I can then basically make a bridge underneath the bridge, because it is technically a bridge. So I could just make the pieces line up and just make that taller, which would be brilliant. And then underneath the bridge, we can then just put 2 base plates of water down for 2 16 by 16 base plates, or we could put something else in there, and it's basically one full roller coaster round going around different scenes from Spider-Man. Because you've got the Ferris wheel, you've got the head, you have the bridge, you've got that kind of thing, and it just works as a coaster. Basically, it's a coaster that will work with all the theming wrapped around the coaster. And of course, it's right beside the Daily Bugle. So that potentially might be happening very, very soon if I open up this cabinet and it is smashed a lot more than what I remember it being, because that's going to take me so long to do. What I'll end up doing is just putting bits and pieces together and between building other sets. Otherwise, there's a lot of pieces there. It's like 20,000 bricks that are all smashed up. Yeah, but I really do want to tuck into the Ninjago next, just to see what it's like, if we've got enough space for this table, and basically see what is what with regards to that. And then that'll basically mean, do I just start and finish the Ninjago display and then carry on wrapping round? Or I can just get 3 sets and then we've got a full diorama for the Spidey done, because it'll work out to be roughly about the same money depending on which way I go. And then we can just crack on and go from there. So talking of going from there, that is it, and I am done. So again, if you can like this video and subscribe to the channel, that would be absolutely fantastic. Let us know your thoughts about this sort of Gotham area and me adding in the bits and pieces with the big Lord of the Rings. It is Lord of the Rings, yes, the big Lord of the Rings eyeball. That's the first time I called that. The Eye of Sauron, I do believe it's called. So the big eyeball up at the top. Behind that, we can then have some more rides to go with this, and then potentially police station with the Arkham Asylum. There's two types. We've got the Batman movie one, or we've got the other one. I'm favouring the Batman movie one, because I think it will go better with the colourful Joker manner, and then we can just use those minifigures basically walking around, and then it will just be 16 by 16 rows all the way around. So it's just very much a case of, I need to lose a modular, or we lose the pet shop. So you guys and girls can let me know in the comments now what you think I should put over in that run of townhouses. But guys, again, one more time, you can like this video and subscribe to the channel. That'd be absolutely fantastic. But as always, thank you very much for watching. You lot take care, and I'll see you next one. Ta-da.